Welcome to my channel. It must be Lily, and thank you so much for taking the time to click on little old me to see what I'm doing. I appreciate you so much. So, it's my second go round on YouTube. I started a couple of years ago, it just didn't pick up, and I just decided to sunset most of the videos that I put online. But now, round two, second try, we're gonna see what it do. So, the way I think I want to do my channel this time is just, faith, talk about food, talk about fun, and just to see where the day takes me. I'm a big believer in God. I love the Lord. And, I hope that others feel the same way, So if you are not a person who believes and who are offended by that, I'm so sorry. But this channel, you will absolutely get a dose of faith in your day, listening to me, listening to what I'm talking about, and just, joining me on the journey. So I appreciate you so much for staying and for coming by. And also food. I love to eat. You see, as you can tell, I'm not missing a meal. But yeah, so I live in Las Vegas, so that's kind of a foodie town, but I plan on just sharing my adventures, the things that I do day in, day out. Sometimes I feel like I don't do too much, but then I feel like I'm doing way too much and I'm way too busy. So you never know what the channel will bring, so stay tuned. I'm going to try and post maybe twice a week. I don't know, twice a week might be excessive. Y'all let me know, if you are a YouTuber and you're used to doing this thing, let me know, help me out. Is twice a week excessive, or is that not enough? Should I do once a week? Kind of let me know, give me some tips, help me out. I appreciate it. So I figured I would start off my official first video with a story about how I ended up on the Jennifer Hudson show. So, um, hopefully everybody knows that Jennifer Hudson has a show, and maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't, but I want to talk about how I ended up on the show. And I don't mean just in the audience, I'm actually talking about being on her show. It was on season 3, and she taught me how to ride a bike. So maybe you saw it, maybe not. I'm going to try and add a clip or add a link to this video so maybe you can check it out. If you haven't seen it, if you have seen it, just watch it again. So my daughter was turning 16. She turned 16 in September, and I was trying to figure out what I was going to do for her birthday. And of course, 16th birthday, it's like I feel like each year I'm trying to top what I did for the prior year. She's a 9/11 baby. She was born on 9/11. On her golden birthday, I actually took her to New York because she wanted to go to New York. So we took a trip to New York. So each year I've been trying to just find something, I guess not necessarily topping what I did for the prior year, but just finding something that, she would enjoy, something that's memorable for her. So since we live in Vegas, I decided to take her to California just to spend a weekend in California and kind of eat, hang out, have fun. And, I'm planning a trip and I'm just like, I don't feel like I'm doing enough for her. I had the hotel, the restaurant, and the mall, but it was just like, what else can we do? And it's like I was just sitting here and my brain said Jennifer Hudson show. I ain't never been to the Jennifer Hudson show. I watched it a few times, but I had never gone to it. I thought about going to it a couple of years ago. I think it came out, it started in 2023. But it was kind of like right after COVID. So they wanted you to be, to have the vaccination to be able to go to the show. And that was a no-go for me. So I'm like, if I can wear a mask, cool. If not, then we just won't go. So I figure, hey, 2024, things may have changed. Maybe they've changed the way they've done things. So I decided to look up a show and to see, how to go about getting tickets, what was the criteria. And to my surprise, you no longer needed to show or prove that you had the vaccination to be able to go to the show. So I'm like, okay, cool. We're gonna go this, that's gonna be a part of her surprise. So I went online, looked at how to get tickets. So I got the tickets to the show and I was like, okay, we're excited about that. And I can't hold eye water to cry with. Basically meaning if I get you something, if I have a surprise for you, I want to let you know immediately, like, hey, guess what? I got you this, or look what I got you. So, she already knew she was going to to California, but She didn't know about the Jennifer Hudson show, so I had to tell her, 16, had to make sure she had her gear right, her hair right. She gonna be in the audience, maybe be shown on TV. So I had to make sure she was aware that we were going, so she could feel like she had herself together. So planned the trip as normal, had our tickets to the show, got our tickets confirmed, and I'm like, okay, cool, we're going to see Jennifer Hudson. I was real excited, and I had no expectations other than we're going to a daytime talk show taping. So I'm like, okay, cool. So we fly to California. We go to the Hollywood, what is it, Hollywood Walk of Fame and the Stars. I had never seen that, so that was pretty cool. So we did that. Just sightseeing. We took a tour. We got to see a lot of the famous people's home. Famous people's, is that proper English? Whatever. We got to see a lot of people's houses. So we did that and it was real cool, And we, like I said, we went to eat. We just tried different stuff out. We went to the mall and just did stuff that a typical 16-year-old would want to do. So the day of the show, um, you know, we were kind of getting ready and just making sure that we were right with everything and arriving early because they had a lot of guidelines that you have to arrive at a certain time. You can't get through security until a certain time. Just make sure you got your ID and your tickets and small purse. Like there was a list of things that almost felt like you were going through like airport security to make sure that you can get into the show, which is cool because I understand, you dealing with a celebrity and other people, and you just want to make sure everybody is safe. So day of the show, we get to the show and we didn't know what to expect. So we get to the show. I had a rental. So we go into the parking garage. We park, we get out, we walk, and it's kind of a checkpoint. You go in, you check your ID, and they check like your bag, your purse, things like that. Give you a number, and then you're seated until kind of they give you more instructions. So they came down and kind of let all the audience know what to expect, making sure that we had high energy, kind of giving us, like, hey, this is season 3. We need to bring high energy and just kind of letting us know, what to expect with being on a daytime talk show. Now, this wasn't my first time being on a daytime talk show, like in the audience. I don't know, and I'm probably aging myself, but if anybody remembers the Jenny Jones show, she had a daytime talk show in the 90s. I actually had the opportunity to be an audience member on that show, and that was years and years and years ago. So, of course, I'm sure like the criteria to be on the show or in the audience has changed since then, and it's like totally two different dynamics. So, um, they check us in and we get a ticket, basically like a card with your number on it, letting you know like what number, what order you are to line up or be like checked in to go into the second part. So we get there and we check in. We get to the second part. Basically you have to leave like the holding area and then they walk you across the street, and then it's like a little waiting area like the Jennifer Hudson lounge. It's got like area that you can take pictures. It's got a backdrop. They've got gear that you can buy, mugs, t-shirts, sweatshirts, things like that. So that's like the little second area right before you go to the area where they film at, like the audience. So, we did all that. It was really exciting. We were taking pictures and everything. And y'all listen, this whole time in my brain, all I'm thinking is I'm gonna meet Jennifer Hudson. That's it. That's all. That's all I want to do is meet Jennifer Hudson. And my daughter, she was so excited, and she was the same way. She was like, "I just want to meet Jennifer Hudson. I want to meet Jennifer Hudson." And I'm like, "Okay, Lord, I don't know how we gonna meet Jennifer Hudson, but in my mind, listen, I put that in the atmosphere. I'm gonna meet Jennifer Hudson." So put us in the audience. We finally line up. We get into the audience or whatever, and it's a real good time. They playing music. We listening to music before the show starts, and then they kind of like instructing you on what to do, kind of making sure again that you have that high energy because you're on daytime TV. Making sure that everybody is no cell phones, things like that. That you're basically being appropriate. How you, if you knowing that you're going to be on daytime TV where millions of people are watching, they just make sure that everything is up to par. So the show starts. Jennifer comes out, and it was just like a dream. I can't even explain it. I don't want to say I was starstruck, but I was, and I was just like, they had her come from I think this because I've gone to a lot of shows since then, but this first show, if I can recall, I think she came from the back of the audience because they were trying something different for season 3 to have her come out. So she came from the back of the audience, and she just looked like a Barbie doll. I'm like, she was so beautiful. She is beautiful, but seeing her in person, it was just like, oh my gosh, it was just so exciting. And I was just so starstruck. So, she come down and they do the show and watching the show. And, you know, um, it was at one point in time during the show where kind of before the show started, or an intermission in between takes, that they were talking about birthdays. And, I'm making sure like they know it's my daughter's birthday. So I'm like, it's her 16th birthday. So they gave, they're throwing t-shirts out to the audience for participation, people that's dancing and rowdy and hype. So they threw my daughter a t-shirt for her birthday. And we just chilling in the audience, just a good time. And I was just thankful to be there for that experience. Like that was enough for me. And at the end of that show, Jennifer, we actually, let me back up. So at the end of that show, they basically kind of block you off so you cannot go up to the stage where Jennifer's at. And I guess sometimes she'll come to the audience, she'll come into the, up into the stage. So um, for that show, and actually it was the second show because we ended up staying for a second show. So the reason we stayed for a second show is after the first show, we were kind of like slowing around because we were both looking like, how do we get to Jennifer to say hi to her? So they're trying to push everybody out. Security is like, okay, y'all got to go. Can't nobody talk to Jennifer. So me and my daughter looking at each other like, okay, so we just literally taking our time and moving real slow. And then one of the producers, I guess he was pulling people and asking them that they want to stay for a second show. So I'm like, thank God that I was just slowing around, kind of seeing like what's going on, people exiting, but I'm kind of like milling around, taking my time, leaving out. And one of the producers came by and he was like walking to people and he's like, hey, do you guys want to stay for a second show? And I'm just like, and my daughter and I look at each other, and the problem with this is we had a flight to catch the same day. So the day of the show was the day that we were supposed to fly out that night.